to the moon, to the moon. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Geeks Vision prediction video. Let's get into it. We got Ngannou Gane, greatest heavyweight fight of all time. Give me that. Here we go. Greatest heavyweight title fight of all time. Francis Ngannou versus Ciryl Gane. We got the technical striker in Ciryl Gane. We got the fucking powerhouse. Fucking turn your lights off. Fucking shut the grid down power. Fucking Francis Ngannou holds that in both fists. This is going to be a banger. We're going to start from the main card. Pick some predictions. At the bottom, here we go. First fight is Cody Stamann versus Nurmagomedov. This is going to be a great scrap. The underdog is Cody Stamann. He started off at plus 170. Nurmagomedov is minus 210. Their lines have updated. Nurmagomedov is now minus 200. Stamann's moved to plus 161. A little bit of money coming in on the wrestler, Cody Stamann. I don't know what I'm thinking right now. Yes, I do. Let's start with Goose.
All right, diving into this one. You got Said Nurmagomedov out of Russia, primary striker versus Cody Stamann, the good old American wrestler. I'm gonna side with Nurmagomedov in this one. You know, I think his striking is pretty legit. I think Stamann's striking is good for a wrestler, and there's some levels there. I think Nurmagomedov his grappling is gonna prove to be able to negate Stamann's grappling, in my opinion. You know, I think Stamann might get him down a couple times early, but I don't think he'll be able to do too much to him. And I think once this fight gets established that it's going to be on the feet for a little bit, Said's just going to start picking and popping. Eventually, I see him getting a TKO in this one. So I'm going to go with Nurmagomedov.
All right, bold take. Let's go, Dano.
I'm siding with him. I'm going Nurmagomedov. I think he's a pretty nice striker on the feet. And just by the last name, he's got to be able to hold himself accountable on the ground. Stamann, I don't know if he's too good at striking, so I'm just going to go with Nurmagomedov. Didn't do a ton of research, but that's what I got.
Fishman.
I liked Stamann in this one. He's never been finished. He's been subbed once, but yeah, wrestler. He's fought good guys, Aljo, Song Yadong, Jimmy Rivera. But yeah, I like the people he's faced, and I think he's durable. But I like Cody in this one, underdog.
Let's go. I also think Cody can get it done. I think he can wet blanket him long enough to get the nod in this one. As boring as it sounds, is probably as boring as it will be. I think that he makes it just a sloppy, hold you down, and you can't get up. And I got you 2 out of 3 times in 3 rounds. You know what I'm saying? That's all it takes. That's all it's going to take. I'm not here to really shit on Nurmagomedov. I think he's a great fighter. I think he's a great striker. I think he will fight a lot of takedowns. But when it becomes just a waterfall of takedowns, I don't know if he's going to be able to swim in those kind of waters. And I'm not sure if he's exactly got enough power to just turn off Cody's lights, per se. All right, well, Shambo wasn't here to make his pick. He went with Nurmagomedov. That's going to be the pick the Geeks ride with because it conceded in the voting 3-2. So check out Sed on the Geek sheet where he just won his place. We're going to move on to the next fight. Oh, my goodness. We're going to move on to the next fight. We got the cow chaser, Michel Pereira, versus Andre Fialho. He just got called into the UFC. He was supposed to fight him last week. I think it was a 5-day notice. Big balls on this guy. He gets another week to prepare. This is going to be a really tough matchup. Fialho's 14-3. Pereira's 26-11, which doesn't sound the best, but he took a lot of his L's early in his career, and he's been looking a lot better and better every time he stepped in the octagon since. He's on a 3-fight win streak. He just beat Nico Price. That was impressive. He didn't clown too hard. I wasn't sold that he won that fight, but it was still a great fight. Showed a lot of grit, showed his gas tank. Fishman, what do you got on this one?
I love Pereira on this one just because, I mean, Andre Fiallo, debut, he's fought a bunch of people with no wins, but he's fought in the past. He's fought Chitty. I forgot his last name, but he just won on Dana White Contender Series, and Chris Curtis. He's lost to both of those dudes in the past, but Pereira, 3-fight win streak, like Mason said, and that's Nico Price, Chaos Williams, and Zalim Imadev. I think that's how you say it. But yeah, I mean, I think he'll be able to control it, and I think he's actually going to sub him, but he'll make it interesting for sure. Always does, and yeah, that fight's going to be a spectacle.
Dano.
I'm going with Pereira as well. I think he's crazy. He's explosive. You never know what you're going to get with him in a good way. As we saw with Nico Price, he's doing backflips. He's doing jumping kicks, jumping punches. I think those spurts is like his key to victory. Get flurries of punches, like I said, jumping stuff. But he also gasses out. So, or at least has been known to gas out. So I guess I could see Fiallo taking him and knocking him out. But you know what? I can't see that, and I'm sticking with Pereira. I'm not doubting it. I think I don't know what he's ranked, or even if he's not ranked at all. I think if he's not ranked at all, it's even scarier because he is a problem, and you do not want to fight Pereira for those reasons. Stepping in on short notice. I know Fiallo fights out of Sanford, which is a good gym, but short notice Pereira fight, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's a tough scene. Goosey, let's tell us what you think.
All right, so I think Michel Pereira is a dog. I've seen enough of him now. He is certified in my book. And I look at Andre Fiallo, first red flag, he's boys with Chase Sherman. And we saw how he made me look last week. But then go into that. He said, and he's been talked about having a bad gas tank. He's on short notice. He said he's going to come out and try and put Pereira away early. That doesn't add up for me. I think you give me a UFC caliber guy versus a guy on short notice to keep a card alive. I think Fiallo is capable, but I don't think, again, that he's at the same level. He is a guy that his best win is being the 6th straight guy to knock out James Vick. Okay. So I'm going to take Michel Pereira in this one. I think he KOs him.
Yeah, I think that this fight is as simple as Andre's got to get into boxing range to do all of his damage. I mean, if he allows Michel Pereira to just dance around and do his nonsense, then he's just going to walk out of there bloodied and busted up because he's just going to be wearing all kinds of shit. And at the end of the day, it's got to be, one of those Cormier, John Jones, Stipe fights, where DC just bites down his mouthpiece, destroys the distance, and just lives right in his face. And I think that's a really tall order for the man, Andre Fiallo. Nothing to take from him. Just this guy's a freak show, and it's going to take a lot more than in-your-face boxing pressure from a lot better boxer to take down Michel Pereira. So we're going to ride Michel Pereira. And looks like we all have him by knockout. All 5 of us.
Just said sub.
Oh, he said sub.
Yeah.
4 knockouts and a sub. So that's kind of sketchy. But we're riding, all of us. Let's go. We're going to move on to the next one. The co-main event. Let's go. We got the flyweight championship bout, the Trilogy. The first one was a draw, but Figuerado lost a point for a nut kicks, so that played into it. So he really won, but it ended up being a draw, and he was the champion anyway, so he kept his belt. The rematch went, as we all know, to Brandon Moreno by submission. That was an insane bout. Earned the submission of the year, multiple platforms. Now they meet again. Davidson Figueredo. He says that he's moved to train with Henry Cejudo. That's a big move. Shows that he's humbled. Shows that he's willing to put in work, willing to get better, which is not something you often see out of champions that lose their belts. You know, they kind of just think they know their stuff and keep going on their own ways. But this guy's willing to accept that Moreno got the best of him and he's going to need to get better. So that's definitely something to look at the Figueredo side. Moreno, though, looked like he had his number in the last bout, which is a tough thing to even like come to like fruition with, but it's true and it really did happen. So it's interesting to see how that confidence comes over into the trilogy fight. Let's go to Goosey.
All right. So I see shades of Wilder Fury in this trilogy. You know, you have the powerful, the almost mythical power of Figueredo coming into that first one. He's the heavy favorite. They duke it out to a draw. That mystique goes away, and the underdog gets a quicker finish in the second one. If history tells us this third one, we could be in for a war. You know, that mystique's out of the way. Both fighters have their cards on the table. And I think they go to war. I think Moreno ends up, through just being more durable and more game, pulling this one out in the later rounds. But I see early, I know Figueiredo's been training with Cejudo. We saw when Wei Li trained with Cejudo, her game morphed more into Cejudo's game with that kind of pressure on the feet, trying to work takedowns and ground game. The thing that I'm worried about that with Figueiredo is the gas tank could be an issue if he tries that style, because if you train with Cejudo, you fight like Cejudo, but you aren't Cejudo, I don't think that's the best recipe. You know, no doubt I could see him having success on the ground early, but I think Moreno toughs it out, gets it to the later rounds, and that boxing work he's been doing with Canelo really shines. So I'm going to take Assassin Baby in this one.
All right, let's go, Dano.
Keeping it rolling, baby. I got Moreno. Pretty much just what Gus said. I think this is going to be a war. This is one where I could see it going either way. But I'm going Mr. Lego with Brandon Moreno. I think he's crisp with the striking. If we go to the ground, it's going to be tough, but Moreno can definitely hold himself. We saw he subbed him. And just looking down the road, one of my favorite fighters, Pantoja, in this division, beat Moreno twice. I'm hoping Moreno retains the belt, and then Pantoja gets a shot. So I'm siding with Moreno.
Let's go. Yeah, if Moreno contains the belt, I think Pantoja's definitely in the rear view mirror. Fishman, what you got?
I'm going with Figueiredo. So Figueiredo, I mean, this dude is an animal. He's got subbed once by Moreno, and one thing in the previous fights and just in his previous career, I mean, this dude, not a lot of people know this, but he walks around like 175 for a flyweight. That is insanity. I mean, they said he needs 25 during camp and then another 25 pounds during fight week. And he's been working on losing a little bit of weight, staying in shape. So that's something I'd love to see. And hopefully his cut isn't as bad as it was in the past. And he's an animal. No, Moreno's also a dog. I mean, we saw it in the last two fights. He could definitely stand there and bang with him. Gonna be a firework of a fight, but I'm gonna have to go with Figueiredo just because he's moved gyms, been training on losing weight, and hopefully he's got it.
Yeah. All right. Well, guess what? I'm with you. We're gonna split this right in half, and I'm gonna tell you something right now. I'm a gambling man. I like value, and if I see something that's going on a little bit funky, I'm gonna take a stab at it. And this is what I've seen lately. So the first time they meet up, Figueredo opens, I think, at minus 290, closes at minus 310. So you're telling me the first time that they fight, people are paying 3-1 money for Figueredo. That was at one point. The second fight comes because Figueredo did win the first fight, and he did have excuses and excuses. So that hype remained the same. He comes into the second fight. I think he opened minus 250, ended minus 270. Okay, so people are paying almost 3-1 again for him. And now that Moreno comes out and has a spectacular performance, and I'm not giving any shit on Moreno's performance. It was a great performance, and he looked great, and he had a bunch of confidence. But you can't tell me that one fight is going to change that odds from paying 3-1 favorite on Figueredo to now I'm paying 2-1 money on Moreno. That's just it just doesn't make sense in my book. So what I see is extreme value on Figueredo, and something that he has a lot of fighters don't have is an eraser, and he's at the flyweight division. So for a guy that can just end a fight at any moment on the ground or standing, I love underdog money. I think it's such a valuable pick. I can't praise enough how picking either side in this co-main and main doesn't really matter because they're all valuable picks. The lines are close, and either way, you have a great argument for your pick. But I think the value in this co-main is going to go to Figueredo. Sean picked Figueredo. The geeks are riding Figueredo on the sheet. So do what you want, but I think the value lies on Figueredo. Does he win? It's pretty good toss-up. So, I mean, have the dog money. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's move on to the main event. We got the two big old boys, Francis Ngannou, Ciryl Gane. So much going on the line on this fight. We got contract negotiations with Ngannou. We got Ciryl Gane, undefeated, interim champion. Danny, what do you got in this fight?
All right, so I'm going with Gane right off the bat. I think all the things you don't want to see in a champion, Francis is doing. He's arguing with Dana in the UFC. He's going out to be in movies. We see him in the new Jackass coming out. And while he's doing that, Gane's in there hitting the mitts, getting to work. I think that, you can never predict a fight, but I'm going to try and give a little prediction. If they're going to come out and be a little cautious of each other, I think Gane's going to be throwing some leg kicks. And really, I just can't really see. I mean, of course, Ngannou could, one punch him, but I think Gane is he's just too good. I think he's going to be champ for a long time. And that's my pick.
Goose.
All right. So obviously you look at this fight and you see the man with the strongest punch at the top of the heavyweight division. It seems like it's a match made to fit, but we've never seen a heavyweight like Gane. He's kind of been testing himself. He's been fighting these power punchers on the way up. He fought JDS, and then he won that. He moved up to Jairzinho Rosenstrike. He won that. He moved up to Derek Lewis. And now it's Ngannou's turn to see if he can be the one to knock him out. You look at Gane's strengths. He likes to stay on the outside and strike. He's never really in the pocket. If he's outside, he's hitting you with punches and kicks. If he's in the pocket, he's going more in and clinching you up. His clinch work is very good. I would say better than Ngannou's. And then you look at Ngannou with all the problems he's been having. One thing he's been talking about is he's been wanting to go box. You're telling me he's not focusing on boxing in his training? And I think if it does grapple, Gane's grappling was already equal. If Ngannou's not focusing on it, I give Gane the advantage there. So now you're stuck in a striking match with Ciryl Gane. I mean, there's got to be better ways to win. And if you're stuck with that, it might be a tough night out for you. So I'm going to take Gane getting this one by decision.
It's a valuable pick. Fishman, what you got?
I got Gane. I mean, 10-0, and just like Goose said, he has been tested. JDS, Rosenstrike, Volkov, Lewis, all names, and he's got 4 knockouts, 3 subs. So, I mean, he's finishing all of his fights in the UFC. So he's got crazy movement for a heavyweight that we've, like Goose said, we've never seen this before. And I mean, Francis, I think it's going to be a fight of Francis trying to land that one big punch. And I don't see Francis being able to get in on him into striking range with the hands, where Gane's going to be kicking the crap out of his legs. I just don't see it. We have a lot of variety from the striking from Gane too. I know Francis, he's got that power, but no, I think Ciryl Gane is it's going to be a new era for the heavyweight, and he's going to be a problem for a bunch of people. Even if he loses, I mean, he's still going to be in the top contenders. So he doesn't win, he'll get another shot, but I'm going with Gane on this one.
Yeah. I mean, clean sweep here. I'm going to take Gane, and I'm going to, you know how there's those memes of like Ryan Hall and it's like next to a meathead, and it'll be like real MMA fans will know who wins this fight. I feel like this is very, very similar in the way that Ngannou is so big, so powerful, but look at the guys that he's hitting. They're not these like quick guys. Like, they're not moving fast. I mean, you can make a case for Jairzinho moving backwards, but I mean, Ciryl Gane's got such good lateral movement. This guy moves so quick. I mean, this guy is literally the new era of heavyweights, and this guy's not going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, yes, of course, there's a chance he gets cracked in this fight, but he's 10-0. I mean, and he's not fighting bums. He was in the UFC at 4-0, I think, or 6-0. Like, the guy is unreal. I mean, and in this matchup, I think it's going to be crazy to see how uncompetitive it is on the feet. I think that Gane picks him apart. I think they come out and they're kind of hesitant. Like Danny said earlier, I think they come out and they're kind of, respect each other's power. But I think that as soon as Ciryl Gane starts piecing up his legs and starts throwing that jab and really moving around, Gane's going to realize that it's time to go for broke when that second bell rings. The first one's going to end. Coaches are going to say, okay, now it's time to turn it up. And by that time, he's going to have already done enough damage to slow him down just enough. And I'm calling a Gane knockout in the second round. So you heard it here first from the Geek. That's my pick. We just clean sweep Gane. So there's your Guillotine Geek predictions.
Sean had Ngannou by my knockout. So 4-1 on the Geeks picks.
4-1 on the Geeks picks, not a clean sweep.
We got a new Guillotine Geeks Discord that we just dropped. Always new stuff in it. So
yeah, for sure. And if you don't follow us on Instagram, get after us at Guillotine Geeks. We're dropping every episode on YouTube. We're dropping it all hot. We got Front Kick Fish. We got Goosey. We got Dano. I'm CEO Geek. We're logging out. Those are the picks. Ride, fade. We don't give a fuck, boss.